His Majesty is a great friend of the United States. Jordan is a great partner to the United States on a whole host of issues. And obviously, although we just recently saw each other, and I want to thank... We now have some evidence that chemical weapons have been used on the populations in Syria. Now, these are preliminary assessments. They're based on our intelligence gathering. We have varying degrees of confidence about the actual use, but there are a range of questions around how, when, where these weapons may have been used. That could lead to a peaceful settlement and both a secure. It's obviously horrific as it is when mortars are being fired on civilians and people are being indiscriminately killed. To use potential weapons of mass destruction on civilian populations crosses another line with respect to international norms and international law. And that is going to be a game changer. We have to act prudently. We have to make these assessments deliberately. But I think all of us, not just in the United States, but around the world, recognize how we cannot stand by and permit the systematic use of weapons like chemical weapons on civilian populations. What we have right now is an intelligence assessment. In many ways, a line's been crossed when we see tens of thousands of innocent people being killed by a regime. But the use of chemical weapons and the dangers that poses to the international community, to neighbors of Syria, the potential for chemical weapons to get into the hands of terrorists, all of those things add increased urgency to what is already a significant security problem and humanitarian problem in the region.
Mr. President, thank you very much. We're delighted to be back here again. And I think, sir, that we are both working very hard to look for a political solution for Syria that is one that is, as you mentioned, inclusive, so that we bring everybody together, which is sort of our last hope too. As we're now seeing the surge of the second threat, I think, which is that of militant terrorist organizations that have risen over the past several months. But I am confident with your leadership and with the meetings that we will have today that we can find a mechanism to bring this solution to an end as quickly as possible. So I look forward to our discussions later this afternoon, and I hope that together we will be able to alleviate the suffering of the Syrian people as quickly.
3 years, one of the biggest bills families have to pay. We've lifted 2 million people. We've done probably more than many countries to plan how to help the opposition. And in the light of the news about the chemical weapons probably used by the regime, we'll be stepping up those efforts, piling on that pressure, working with that opposition and trying to give the Syrian people the chance of the proper freedom and democracy that they deserve. We're cutting the rate of corporation tax, so it'll be just 20%. That will mean you've got the lowest rate of corporation tax